2025 Major League Baseball season kicks off bright and early, 6 a.m. our time tomorrow morning. Little League is going locally. It's been going here for quite a few weeks, but even across the country, I'm noticing all my Little League videos are just getting more and more views because it's finally getting to spring. And so I just wanted to take a few minutes and just share my love, my enjoyment, my enthusiasm with baseball and baseball season. Of course, in the world of sports, the NCAA March Madness bracket kind of reigns supreme over the next couple of weeks. I get that. And it is just two games for the major. We are going to be covering that game live tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. And so we're super excited about it. Not because we care about the Cubs or the Dodgers, but because it's baseball and baseball is back. I am actually picking up my son from school right now, and he has a game today, as you can see, as one of his coaches. I am all decked out. Got to pick him up and then got to make a quick drop off at the post office. But he is playing, and I believe this is his ninth game of the season already. And that was like after scrimmage games and all the practice and preseason. But I just want to share like my love of baseball with you. And just again, thank you for hanging out with us. We are MetropoliFins. My name is Craig. We're YouTube's smallest New York Mets, Miami Dolphins, and Little League channel as well. And I get it. The world of baseball is constantly changing. The game that you see on TV today is definitely a lot different than the game we used to watch. I just watched some highlights a couple days ago. I think it was like the 1996 All-Star game. It was something like that. And it was just like the peak baseball of my childhood. It was Ken Griffey Jr., Cal Ripken Jr., Tony Gwynn, Kirby Puckett. So I want to say it was 1990, maybe 94. It was 94, 96, somewhere in there. Like right around when I was like a young teenager, 13, 14, 15 years old, right in that range of life. And I just remember going back, and it's just amazing how all those memories came flooding back. And I was like, you know how memorable so many of those players were, and that it was the same game, and it was the same game that my grandpa played when he was growing up, and it was the same game that he watched on TV. And I get it, with the rule changes now, it's not what it once was. I think there's a lot of old school baseball fans like me kind of would be in that category. But ultimately, at the local levels, the baseball that my son is playing tonight in his little league game is fundamentally not much different at all than the game that his great grandfather played. And so I just think it's really, really cool to do that. And so, hello, everybody. Welcome in. We're just talking about love for baseball. Major League Baseball season is kicking in tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Chicago Cubs, Los Angeles Dodgers are going to be playing in Japan. We're going to cover that game live here. So if you're going to be up super early, or if you're in a different country where it's not super early, doing that. But yeah, just the idea that baseball is this game that has been around. So I am, for a Major League Baseball, I'm a New York Mets fan. I grew up in New Jersey in the 80s, and that was the team to be. So had I grown up there in the 90s, might have ended up being a Yankees fan, but luckily I fell in love with the Mets. So, Alexander, we're always looking for mods, but we're looking for people who are going to hang around for a good long time. So come hang out, be a part of the channel, contribute, help build the channel, and we're always looking to bring mods on. So if I had to choose between Red Sox or Yankees, I would pick the Red Sox. I'm not picking the Yankees for anything. So yeah. So anyway, so I'm on my way to school to pick up my son. He's got his little league game today, and so just kind of a celebration. This channel is all about sports. So we're YouTube's smallest New York Mets and Miami Dolphins channel, and we're talking baseball and football. But I also put up a video last night. If you have to pick out your March Madness bracket and you don't watch college basketball, kind of like me, the only time I follow college basketball is like the next 3 weeks of the season. I'll put out a guide so you guys can check that out if you want, even accounting, and make sure you finish ahead in your bracket this year. So yeah, so anyway, I'd love to hear just kind of your favorite memories about baseball growing up, or do you remember watching it with your parents, your grandparents, your great grandparents? I remember even watching with my great grandma Rose. She passed away many years ago now, but she was a huge Mets fan too, so I'm sure that played a big part in me being a Mets fan. And of course, just started following baseball in like 1985, 1986. And I mean, what a great time. I would have never thought from that point forward that that was the only World Series I was going to see for the next, you know, 40 years. But apparently that's just what I'm meant to be, this long-suffering sports fan. But I still just love the idea of just going to a game, just sitting down, having that hot dog, watching a game. There's so much stuff that goes on at a baseball game, and I'm not just talking about the things of like throwing stuff in the crowd, everything, intricacies of a baseball game that you get to experience when you get to go see it in person. I was fortunate, received a few gifted tickets for a spring training game that I got to go to here a couple weeks back, and it was just fun. Got to take my two oldest kids with me, and just watching all the pieces, watching everything, seeing how they prep the field, all the work they do in between innings and everything else. And so there's just such a love that I still have, and this place in my heart that I just enjoy baseball and get back to it. So love to hear, and if you're watching this on replay, just love to hear what are your memories, what are your favorite baseball memories, and especially if they're not so much related to how your team did, but more if your memories are related to just like either cherished moments with family or friends, different things. There was one year, so I lived in Minnesota for a while, and it was in an era where tickets were relatively cheap. So I got to go to a lot of Twins games, and I wouldn't really call myself a Twins fan per se. However, I've probably been to more Minnesota Twins games than any team just because for a while living in such close proximity to the stadium. Super easy. But one year we got tickets to, it was game 163. The Twins were tied, and I want to say it was the White Sox. It's again, the memory's fading after all these years, but they had to play an extra game of the season because they were tied for the final wild card spot. And I remember they won it and immediately got pummeled by the Yankees in the next round, as the Twins are known to do. But I remember getting to go to that game, and it was like this exciting back and forth game. And it was just so much fun to be there. And I was there with a couple of friends and to experience, technically it was regular season. I think it counted towards regular season, not playoff, but it was like this playoff atmosphere. It was just so much fun. And of course, like, I didn't care, so I'm gonna root for the Twins since I'm at the Twins game. Even though, like, I don't really care who wins, but in that moment you're gonna be in there with the fans and doing all that. So I really remember that's probably the best in stadium baseball experience I've had. I've had lots of good ones, lots of good memories from when I was a kid. Actually, it was easier and closer to go to Philly games. Plus, we had family over in Pennsylvania, so we would drive over, meet up with family over in Philly. So this was the old Veterans Stadium. I think they have a new stadium now, but yeah, this is the old Veterans Stadium. And I remember going over one year, and Mets were winning, and then I don't even remember who was pitching. This would have been like probably mid to late 90s or whatever, and the Mets gave up a grand slam, and I was there with my friend Josh, and I just remember both of our mouths just dropped, just seeing the Mets bullpen blow a game, first of many that I would witness in my life, of course. But I still remember that. So I'd love to hear just what are your favorite baseball memories. I'm not going to hang on. I'm almost to school, so I'm going to pick up my son, and we're going to cut the stream when I get to school. But anyway, just love to know, again, whether you're watching live or on replay, hit that like, hit that subscribe. But let me know what's your greatest baseball memory, because baseball season is here. I would encourage you to take in a game somewhere this year. If it's been a while, obviously spring training is almost up, and it's kind of limited to Florida and Arizona. But even if you just got a niece or a nephew or somebody who plays like Little League baseball or something like that, try to get out to a game this year. Maybe you got a college team in town or even a high school team in town. Just go out, support your local team. Go out there, say hi, go cheer on somebody, and just go watch kids playing baseball. for the fun of the game. Where it's like, yeah, they're aiming for scholarships and different things, but ultimately they're out there because they still just enjoy the game. They enjoy playing the game. So that would just be kind of my thought, my encouragement to you. And honestly, if you feel so inclined, I would challenge you to get involved with volunteering at some capacity. You might feel like you don't really know what you're doing, and different things like that, but I would say, like, yeah, get involved. These leagues need people to work concession stands. They need coaches. They need umpires. They need all sorts of people. So um, I would just encourage you to do that. If you kind of feel like you'd be in over your head, like on how to coach, I actually put together a guide for how to coach Little League if you have no idea what you're doing.